It began as a harmless prank. Something meant to provoke a few laughs, nothing more. My husband, Mark, had always been the life of the party. The kind of man who could make anyone chuckle, who didn't mind being the butt of a joke, who thrived on laughter, especially if he was the one orchestrating it. So, when our friend suggested we play a little trick on him during our weekend picnic, it seemed harmless enough. The plan was straightforward. We'd accidentally leave him behind at the picnic spot, drive off for a few minutes, and then meet him in a nearby cafe, all of us laughing about it afterward. As we drove away, I remember grinning and saying, he'll probably just flag down a car or call us, smiling the whole time. Everyone laughed, picturing his reaction, but that laughter didn't last. Mark didn't show up. At first, I assumed he was teaching us a lesson. Maybe he'd stay with a friend, or camp out overnight just to make us feel guilty. I laughed it off, telling everyone, relax. He's probably plotting his revenge. But when the sun rose the next morning and his phone remained off, a knot of dread formed in my chest. By noon, panic had replaced any humor. I called the police. They reassured me that sometimes people just needed a break, that he would likely turn up soon. But I knew Mark. He loved a joke, yes, but he would never vanish like this. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't the kind of man to make me worry just for amusement. When we found his car still at the picnic site, keys gone, backpack still inside, my chest tightened. Nothing made sense. He would never leave without his phone, without water, without telling someone. Search parties combed the surrounding woods, calling his name, and I joined them until my voice was raw. Every rustle in the trees made my pulse spike, but there was no sign of him. Days turned into weeks. The laughter that had once filled our home vanished. Friends stopped visiting. Their sympathetic expressions turned to whispers, speculating whether the prank had gone too far. Some even suggested that Mark might have walked away, hinting that maybe our marriage wasn't as perfect as it seemed. I told myself they were wrong, but their words stung because a small part of me feared they weren't entirely wrong. Mark hadn't seemed himself lately. He smiled, joked, but there was a heaviness in his eyes, a weariness I hadn't wanted to confront. Then, one evening, my phone rang. The number was unfamiliar. When I answered, a trembling voice said, "Lena, it's me." My heart nearly stopped. It was Mark. Relief and anger crashed over me all at once. "Where are you?" I demanded. He hesitated. "Close," he said softly, "but not home. I need to see you first." We met at a small diner on the edge of town. When I saw him, I almost didn't recognize him. Sunburned skin, a thinner face, eyes that seemed older. I rushed forward, but when I wrapped my arms around him, he didn't hug me back. "Mark, what happened?" I whispered. "Where were you?" he asked, voice calm but distant, eyes fixed on his coffee as he swirled it. "When you left me there," he said slowly, "I realized something. You all laughed like it was nothing, but I felt like I disappeared, like I didn't matter." His words pierced me. I tried to defend myself. It was just a silly joke. But he shook his head. "It wasn't just a joke, Lena. It was years of being laughed at, brushed aside, treated like my only purpose was to make others smile. That day, it showed me how invisible I'd become. I wanted to say something, anything, but guilt weighed me down." He explained that after we left, he had wandered for hours until he found an old friend's cabin. He stayed there, thinking. He needed to figure out whether he even wanted to come back. Then he realized he still loved me. That's why he came, not to finish the joke, but to start over. Tears streamed down my face. I apologized again and again, but Mark only looked tired. "You can't erase what happened," he murmured, "but maybe we can learn from it." We drove home in silence. The house looked the same. The couch, the photos, his half-read book on the shelf. But something between us had shifted. He unpacked and went to the backyard, standing long moments where he had once joked about building a fire pit. In the weeks that followed, we began to talk. Truly talk. He shared how small he had felt. How laughter that once felt warm now reminded him of loneliness. For the first time, I listened. I saw a side of Mark I had never bothered to understand. Someone who felt deeply, who carried the weight of everyone else's happiness while quietly neglecting his own. Months have passed. The teasing that once cut now feels gentle. Sometimes, when I think about how close I came to losing him, a chill runs through me. That day taught me something I'll never forget. Love doesn't die from shouting matches or dramatic betrayals. It dies quietly, in moments when someone starts to feel unseen. No one should feel like the punchline of their own story. Mark forgave me, but I'm still learning to forgive myself. Because when he returned, it wasn't just our marriage that changed. It was me. I finally understood that sometimes the people who make us laugh the most are the ones hiding the deepest struggles.